Hello guys, so I'm going to, first welcome you to the channel, welcome to the subscribers and the non-subscribers, people who might subscribe if they watch this. I'm going to try and do this without any edits. This is my office, so before the day starts properly I thought I'd do this. I thought it might be nice to do it here because today is about music. So this is about film scores. This is my top 20 film scores. So there's a little bit of extra reverb than would be in my house. So big open room, massive room where people can rehearse, which is nice. But anyway, top 20 film scores. I'm going to go through them all, hopefully without an edit. I've got a little list there. Tell me what you think. What are your favourite scores? What do you think of my selections? It's quite a whole variety of styles here. And also, there's 3 musicals. I think it's 3 musicals. 1, 2, 3. I think it's 3. Technically 4. But one of them's more than a musical, but 3/4 musicals, well, 4 musicals, it's 4 musicals, and the first selection is a bit cheeky, but these are all film scores as in music that's been made for the film. So this is not just like, I don't know, what an example would be something like Pulp Fiction or something, where the tracks are just selected for the film that they already existed. This is music for the film. So, film scores. Okay, so let's get to it. Number 20, American Graffiti. This is a cheeky one because clearly this is a whole bunch of rock and roll songs. But I feel like it's a bit different because it feels like almost the film is made for the songs rather than the songs made for the film. It's a fantastic film, but it's also just a great soundtrack to create that atmosphere and to put that setting there, which is clearly what scores should be doing. But it really puts you in the 50s, and it really does mean something fundamental in the film. So American Graffiti, George Lucas's first feature-length film, basically about growing up, set in the rock and roll era with these classic rock and roll songs. It's a brilliant, brilliant soundtrack. So that's my number 20. The only one that's a bit iffy, really, as far as the music made for the film thing. But yeah, I wanted to include it because I think it's very, very special. The selections they made for it were just perfect. Number 19, Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon. A lot of people might think the film's cheesy, but I love the fact that Queen decided that they could do a project where they made original music for a film. They really got into it. They all wrote different tracks. They're all composers on it. And they are writing score music. So it's not just the song, famous hit single. It's not just that. It does appear in the film, obviously. And the end song, Hero, it's not just that. They've got lots of incidental music they wrote for the film as well. I love that. I think Queen were being really ambitious, which is also one of the gripes I've got about that film that was made about them, that they just cut short some of the interesting things they did. They didn't even mention. Don't get me started on that film. But film Flash Gordon, a really nice highlight, I think, in their career. And I just think it's awesome that a rock band decided to write incidental music for a film like that. Especially a film that, especially a band that was so popular and not particularly niche, and they just went for it anyway, you know. So Flash Gordon, number 19. Number 18, Brother Where Art Thou, an amazing Coen Brothers film. The atmosphere that's created by these tracks that were recorded for the film to create this sort of the setting and to create the mood and to create that kind of Americana feel are just perfectly done. It's an absolutely beautiful soundtrack, and they did obviously have like a tour built around it, and you know, there was a whole sort of thing connected to the music from it. But yeah, I mean, if you think about, well, it was done by T-Bone Burnett. He was the one that produced it and kind of the supervisor of the whole project. But you had Gillian Welch, Emmylou Harris, and Alison Krauss involved in a lot of the tracks, and obviously I had Man of Constant Sorrow that's sung by Dan Tominski, I think his name is, from Union Station. But you had just beautiful tracks, and you had that amazing mournful blues track from Ralph Stanley as well. And just the whole atmosphere of this soundtrack is incredible. So, 18, Brother Where Art Thou. Okay, my first musical was number 17, Hairspray. I absolutely love the songs in Hairspray, and genuinely really powerful, fantastically anti-racist film that I think really packs a punch. And some of those songs just really get to me every time I see it. I really think it's a very special musical. So Hairspray is my number 17 and the first musical. Number 16, I wanted to mention Bernard Herrmann, I could have chosen loads of loads of films by Bernard Herrmann, but I've gone for A Day the Earth Stood Still, because really that theremin with the orchestra, that was so iconically, fantastically, fundamentally changed music scores. It placed the theremin as the sound of science fiction when he did that, and it's quite awesome. And it's not dated now. I mean, you hear that now, and it's just fantastic. Obviously, Tim Burton asked Danny. Oh wait, did he ask Danny Elfman? Or just Danny Elfman might have just done it. Created that again for Mars Attacks. He created that sort of sound, and that theremin is such a brilliant element to the Day the Earth Stood Still music. So that's the one I've chosen for Bernard Herrmann. But there could have been a few. Could have chosen Jason the Argonaut's Mysterious Island. All that sort of stuff I think is awesome, as well as obviously he did Citizen Kane and stuff like that as well. But I love his science fiction fantasy scores. So Bernard Herrmann, Day the Earth Stood Still is my number 16. Number 15 is Nina Rota's Godfather score. So I watched them again recently, and just the music is beautiful. It's just beautiful. It feels Italian, which is nice, but regardless of that, that could be just invented because we're watching the film and we know where it's set. It's just, well, obviously it's not set in Italy, but you know what I mean. But the music is beautiful regardless. Absolutely fantastic score by Nina Rota. So Godfather is my number 15. Number 14, a little bit off the beaten track, maybe. It's Michael Nyman. I'm a big Michael Nyman fan, but my favourite Michael Nyman score and music probably is the music from Z and Two Noughts. I always go back to that one. So I do like the piano, which is probably his most famous, most popular one. But Z and Two Noughts, I think, is just a fantastic score. It's a very odd film. I remember seeing it in the cinema and then walking out going, wow, that was a little bit different. But the score, I think, is fantastic. Z and Two Noughts. If you haven't heard the music, check it out. Michael Nyman. Very minimalist stuff, obviously. But I really like minimalism. There's a few other... Well, is there one other example of minimalism? Arguably two, maybe. There's someone influenced by Nyman later on. So, yeah, number 14, Michael Nyman, Z and Two Noughts. Hello?
What?
You all right?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm just doing a video. Okay, so number 13 is Gladiator, Hans Zimmer. It's kind of predictable there'd be a Hans Zimmer score in here, but by far it's my favourite one. So he's done some awesome ones. Interstellar is an amazing score, and yeah, well, I think that's probably the second one for me. But The Dark Knight, there's loads of great scores by Hans Zimmer, but Gladiator was the one I chosen because I wanted to only have one from each composer, so didn't want to double up. So Gladiator, it's a phenomenal score, the whole score as well. It's not just the action, big tracks. There's some lovely kind of lyrical pieces in the score as well. Lisa Gerrard, I think, is the singer in the Gladiator score. But yeah, number 13 is Gladiator. Number 12 is another musical. So Fiddler on the Roof. Fiddler on the Roof, I just love that film, but I love the songs. And I just think it's one of those perfect musicals. It's just beautiful songs, just beautifully sung. The arrangement, the power of the lyrics, just fantastic. So Fiddler on the Roof is my number 12 music score and my second musical in the list. Number 11, again, a little bit off the beaten track maybe. Don't know if you guys know Wim Mertens, a Belgian composer, but some of his music was used. I don't know if all of it was done for the film or if some of it was already written and then I'm not sure how much was written for the film and how much, I don't know. But the score for the film Belle Living Architect, it's a really mournful / depressing film. I really love the film. I'd like to see it again actually because I saw it. I've seen it twice, but the second time I saw it was quite a while ago. But I would like to see it again. Brian Dennehy does an amazing performance. But Belle Living Architect is a phenomenal score, and Wim Mertens. Some of Wim Mertens' tracks are on some of his other albums that are in that score, which is why I think there may have been music that were written before it as well. But he definitely wrote some of it for the film, I think. Number 10 is my last musical. Well, I'll say that musical. Bugsy Malone. I just think it's a perfect musical. The songs are incredible. The recordings are brilliant. It's not my favourite ever musical because Fiddler on the Roof, I think the story is better and the whole, as a film, I think it's better. but Bugsy Malone are my favourite songs as far as musical songs. So yeah, Bugsy Malone, Paul Williams, amazing songwriter. I don't think you can call him underrated because he's so rated, but a lot of people don't know about him, which is a shame. But Bugsy Malone is a phenomenal. A lot of people know the Bugsy Malone songs though, but they don't realise it's Paul Williams. So yeah, Bugsy Malone, film score, the songs from that film. Number 9 is the score for Black Panther. So the Marvel films tend to have quite generic, predictable music, really, by and large. Really good functional music, which works. The music for Black Panther I thought was absolutely stunning because it was mixing African traditional music, which I love, with this kind of more standard orchestral film score music that you'd expect to get with the leitmotifs and stuff mixed in. And I thought that was just amazing. And Ludwig Göransson is a fantastic composer, and some of the stuff he's done has been phenomenal. So I did want to include Ludwig in the choices, but it was kind of an obvious choice for me because I went away thinking the Black Panther score was the best thing about the film. I do think it's a really good film. I think the score is really special. So number 8 is one of the scores from Goblin. So I'm a huge fan of the Italian rock band Goblin, who've spent most of their career making film score music. And my favourite score of theirs is Dawn of the Dead. So it could have been Profondo Rosso, could have been Tenebrae, could have been Creepers or Suspiria, but Dawn of the Dead is my favourite. But I love their music, absolutely love their music. So I've got a really good 4-disc box set of theirs. But yeah, Dawn of the Dead, Goblin, check their stuff out if you can. Number 7 is John Williams, and clearly John Williams is going to be in it somewhere, but I couldn't ignore the music of Star Wars. Such a massive soundtrack to my life. Star Wars is a big thing for me, and that theme is just invokes so much. And for me, the music from the original film is my favourite stuff from the Star Wars canon, and John Williams is a genius. So yeah, John Williams' Star Wars is my number 7. Number 6, so we're getting into the really kind of hugely important scores for me. Number 6 is by Howard Shore, and it's one of the films from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I've chosen The Two Towers because I just love the music that he wrote for the Rohirrim. All that sort of human stuff that was happening in the first half of the film. I just love that music. So that's my favourite part of the music for Lord of the Rings, and all the battle at the end. The music is just amazing. So yeah, I love all of the music Howard Shore wrote for the trilogy, but for me, the second film has the best music, personally. But it could have been any of them, because just the music's phenomenal in those 3 films. Okay, number 5, we're in the top 5 now. Number 5 is Ennio Morricone. Ennio Morricone is just a genius, like I just said about John Williams, but he really is. And I can't stop loving Fistful of Dollars score. So I play it a lot. I absolutely love it. It's so evocative. You're right.
Yeah.
And Fistful of Dollars is just one of those phenomenal scores that creates such an amazing and influential atmosphere. I mean, a lot of times when you want that Western feel, Morricone's put that stamp on film scoring now, where it's often a sound that evokes the Westerns, even if you're going to use it in a science fiction way or something like that. They want that Western feel. They'll often mimic Morricone's style. But Fistful of Dollars is such a beautiful example of that. So obviously, Good, the Bad and the Ugly, For a Few Dollars More, and Once Upon a Time in the West are other Westerns that helped put Morricone on the map and put his music on the map as such an influential sound. But for me, Fistful of Dollars is the best one for me personally. But I also love Once Upon a Time in America and his music for Taxi Driver, all sorts of things like that. But yeah, Morricone, absolute genius again. So that was my number 5. Number 4, again, one of those scores I've heard so many times, so many times. I put it on in so many scenarios. So, you know, sometimes background music, sometimes because I want to kind of change my mood or just for fun. This is Jan Tiersen's score for the film Amelie. Amelie is just a beautiful film anyway, but it's hugely helped by this really evocative and beautiful and sensitive score that he wrote. So if you haven't seen the film yet, please go and see it, because it's just Jean-Pierre Jeunet is just an amazing director, and it's just such an amazingly beautiful film. So if you haven't seen Amelie, see the film, but you'll notice how great the score is. So Jan Tiersen's score for Amelie is amazing. That's my number 4. Number 3, Elmer Bernstein's Magnificent Seven. Again, it's one of those evergreen things. Doesn't matter how many times you listen to it. So many themes in it that are really catchy as much as anything else, but they just make you feel good. You know, like this is an upbeat score for definite. It's an upbeat film, although obviously it's quite dramatic in places, but it's pretty much an upbeat film, and the score is like that. It's just fantastic. This is kind of like the pre-Morricone Western sound, really. So that whole sort of big country kind of thing. And Elmer Bernstein did contribute to that, and Magnificent Seven is one of those. But I just love the music of Magnificent Seven loads. And I do like a lot of other stuff that Elmer Bernstein's done as well. I think he's a really good composer. So for number 3, Magnificent Seven. Number 2, my second favourite score, I've chosen a Danny Elfman score. So Danny Elfman is my all-time favourite film composer, and I am a huge fan of Oingo Boingo, so I'm going to be biased. And I love loads of his scores. So you've got Edward Scissorhands, you've got Beetlejuice, you've got Pee-wee's Big Adventure, you've got loads and loads of great scores he's done. But his greatest achievement, I think, is Nightmare Before Christmas score. So as I've been implying earlier, there was possibly another musical, but I think it's more than a musical because it is a musical, clearly. But you know, there's loads of different elements of his style in there, and it's not just a musical because I think it's got Danny Elfman's sound all over it. So I was kind of thinking like that. So anyway, Nightmare Before Christmas. If you haven't seen the film, it's a masterpiece. But also, if you don't know the songs, they're just beautiful songs, and the whole arrangement's lovely. There's just fantastic music all around, arranged and orchestrated by Steve Bartek, who does all of his orchestrations. Just fantastic songs. So Nightmare Before Christmas is my second choice. My number 1 choice for my favourite film score is Jerry Goldsmith's Planet of the Apes. It's an absolute work of genius. I love the film, really love the film. I love many of the Planet of the Apes films. I really love the new trilogy, actually. Matt Reeves, the director, who's doing the new Batman. He did those 3 films, I think, brilliant. But the original Planet of the Apes film, I think, is just an absolute masterpiece. And I do love this score by Jerry Goldsmith. And he's a really interesting composer anyway. He's done all sorts of great things. But it's very special, I think, what he did with Planet of the Apes. And he's used a Queeker, which is really cool. So you don't very often hear the Queeker in scoring for certain, but you don't hear it very often full stop. So that's a really awesome Latin American percussion instrument, which sounds like you're tickling a monkey. And just some awesome moments. I mean, The Hunt is probably the most famous track from it. If you're not sure of the music of Planet of the Apes, check out the track called The Hunt, because you get a real flavour of what the music's like. So anyway, that's my choice for number 1, Planet of the Apes, Jerry Goldsmith. What do you think? What are your favourite scores? That's it, really. So thanks for subscribing and for watching this. Please make a comment about what you think about my choices, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.